Recertification periods. How to handle recertification like a boss. I'm a freaking boss. I'm a recertification boss. Okay? I've been doing this for 10 years. I've done so many recertifications. I've probably done over 1,000 recertifications. What's a recertification? Well, if you're not in the field, of course you're not going to know. Of course you don't know, because I'm going to tell you. A recertification is basically where you are renewing your lease agreement in the apartment complex that you are living in. Why is it called a recertification, not a renewal? Because we work in the affordable housing sector. Affordable housing for low-income families, seniors, people with disabilities, they have to prove that they are low income, that they are senior, that they are people with disabilities, and therefore they are entitled to the housing. They are qualified to have the low income housing. You have to check it. You have to verify this. And that verification process is called a recertification. Why is there a re in front of it? Because it's happening again. And it happens again, and it's a continuous annual. Every year, the person has to renew. You might think this is crazy. It is kind of crazy. I didn't know people live like that. I mean, I grew up, to be honest with you, I grew up on a horse ranch with horses and chickens and a goat that freaking used to chase me out when I was trying to go to school. I grew up there. I didn't grow up in an apartment complex, and I didn't know that people grew up in this way, but people have lived like this for hundreds of years, continually recertifying, every year recertifying, proving that they are low income, that they are qualified to live in the low income housing. So it's a new process, especially if you didn't grow up around that. Like I said, I saw my parents renting out rooms and renting out houses when I was growing up, so I kind of grew up around this in that way, but I didn't grow up around the affordable side. So that's the new thing that I'm seeing. So recertification basically is the main thing that you're going to do when you're affordable housing property manager, assistant manager, regional manager, you're working in the office, you're compliant, you're going to be doing the certification, both of them. It's pretty much your bread and butter. So what I would strongly suggest is that if you want to get good in this field, you need to get very good at the recertification process. Like this needs to be down. This shit needs to be mastered. Nobody can tell you anything. It should be that if you have the freaking file, nobody can tell you anything because you have the file. That's where you want to be. That's where I want to get you. The recertification process is a hard process. I'm not going to lie to you. It takes training. The average person is not going to be able to do it properly. You have to be smart. You have to be really intelligent to be able to complete it properly. And even if you are very intelligent, you might still make a mistake. So don't feel bad. But you need to learn it. You need to have it down. Your coworkers, your colleagues, your work is judged based on how well you know that paperwork, how well you know your recertification process, how well you do the recertification process, the confidence that you have while you're doing it, how you're able to maintain your composure. All of that translates in your experience in this field. You have to have it down. People are going to judge you based on how well you do that process. So if you have that process down well, they're going to treat you well. If you don't have it down well, or you're making mistakes, or you don't know where things go, they're going to treat you like that. And you don't, and you're going to be, trust me, you're going to be much happier when people are treating you in a better way because you do your job well. Everybody loves a person who knows their job. Nobody wants a grown child. Okay? A grown child is somebody who's at work who doesn't know their freaking job, who doesn't know what to do. That's a grown child. Nobody wants a grown child. If you're good at your job and you're good at the recertification process, everybody's gonna love you. Just take it from me, okay? Get that down. You want to be good in this field, you want to get very good, get good at the recertification process. And specifically, understand, pull out the paperwork, read every question, understand how it's supposed to be filled out. There is a specific way it needs to be filled out, and you do have to assist people, okay? It is hard paperwork. I once had a boss tell me that only the nerds can do this. And maybe they're right. Maybe people who were nerds in high school and then they come into this field, they get really good because they're good at reading and filling out papers and stuff. Me, not so much. I was a nerd in high school. I was more of like an athletic guy in high school. Okay? I hated school, honestly. Recertification process, you gotta have it down. You gotta have it down perfectly to a science. Okay? There is a whole process from the minute that you notify somebody that their lease is expiring and that they need to renew their lease to the point where they have renewed their lease and they're signing off on the new renewed lease. Okay, it's a whole process. And the deeper you get into the affordable housing, the harder it is, okay? Because there's many different levels of affordable housing. There is the entry level where there's apartments and there's a few units in that apartment complex that are low income housing, just a couple. That's the entry level. Then you get into a tax credit property where the entire property is low income. You want to get deeper than that, you go into HUD. HUD is where it's even more low income, it's even more scrutinized, and on top of that, you are on specific deadlines. You are on specific deadlines to not only finish the renewal 45 days beforehand, 30 days beforehand, 45 days actually, because your boss wants to check it, but you're also supposed to run an EIV by a certain date every month for the people coming up. That is called EIV, electronic income verification, and I'll make another video about that because it's way more complicated and you're really deep in. If you're working at a HUD property, and I'll make another video about HUD property, you're deep in, okay? You're on the front lines, I'm gonna tell you that right now. They might try to tell you, oh, it's just a regular job, oh, it's just office, oh, I'm just here to help, they'll tell you all kinds of bullshit. Don't listen to any of the bullshit. If you're working at a HUD property, you're on the fucking front lines, you're working on the hardest of the hard. Tax credit, still hard, but not as hard as HUD, and then on top there's that entry level. So there's specific, and the reason I got into this is because I'm telling you that the recertification process is not just one process, there's two. There's the HUD one and there's the tax credit one, okay? And the HUD one is the harder one because you are deeper in, you're deeper into the affordable sector, okay? You need to learn the recertification process. You need to learn how to do both of them. I can do both of them. I know HUD and tax credit, and I'm certified. So, and I'm gonna teach you. I'm gonna get you as good as me. I'm gonna get you so good at this field, and you'll be able to take this and go to any office job and be able to use these skills that you learn here. And you're gonna be so good that nobody's gonna be able to tell you shit, okay? Nobody's gonna fuck with you because you have the skills, you have the work ethic, and you know what the fuck is up, okay? So you get good at the recertification process. Also, get good at doing many recertification. There's some managers who will only do 2 freaking recertifications per day. That's 2 a day. How are you gonna do 2 a day? I do 5 to 6, okay? I would do more, but they don't let us do overtime. But I would do more, I can. I've done 2 recertifications at the same time. I've done 10 or 15 of them in a day. You can do a lot of them. Learn how to do, you just gotta separate them. You can't have 2 families in the same room because it's supposed to be confidential, but you can have them in separate offices and you can go back and forth and you can work with each family. And if you're smart and you're quick and you know the process, it's gonna be a breeze for you. And that's what's gonna set you apart from all your colleagues. While all your colleagues are only doing 3 or 4 files a day, you're knocking out 10, okay, 20. Get good at it so that even though you're pushing these high numbers, it has to be accurate. I can't stress this enough. There is no point of you doing all 10 files, doing more work than everybody, and then somebody gotta come back and redo it and do double work to fix all your errors. It has to be perfect. Take your time. You can do it. It's not rocket science, okay? Keep that in mind. It's not, they'll try to tell you it's rocket science, oh, this shit's hard, oh, you nobody's gonna be able to learn it, it takes forever to learn this, you can spend your whole life and still not that bullshit, okay? It's not fucking rocket science. You can learn this. You can get really good at the recertification process and you can knock out way more work than all your colleagues and it's gonna set you apart, okay? Because then, and it's for your peace of mind too, all right? You don't wanna be buried in paperwork. I've seen some managers buried in paperwork. You don't wanna be there, okay? Because it never gets done. It never gets done. Oh, it's never done, it's never done, it's never done. You don't want to be there because then you'll get burnt out, okay? I talked about burnt out in another video, and there's ways to combat that, but this is one of those factors that will lead to the burnout. Learn the recertification process. Learn every question on there, learn every form. Go through every single file. See how they did it last year. Check the recertification from last year. See how they did it. That was completed and signed off. That means it's perfect. That means you could follow that and copy it. Not copy it exactly because things change, but this will give you a rough idea of what it's supposed to look like. And that'll get you good. And learn how to do multiple of these in a day, at least 5 a day. Okay, start with 3, but go aim for 5 and do more than that. It's gonna set you apart from your colleagues, and it's gonna help you get a lot more work done, and it's gonna make you a stronger manager.